Sir, good afternoon, sir. Mari, sir.
Good afternoon, Girish. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir, audible. I am making you co-host. Okay, you can able to share the screen later after some time. You're audible, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
We will wait for a few minutes, then we can start the session, okay?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure. Sir, in 1 minute we will start, sir.
Girish, I'm trying to share from another name, but I'm not able to share the screen.
Just give me a minute, sir.
Yeah.
So, are you able to check now, sir? Can you please check once?
Now I can able to share.
Sir, give me 1 more minute, sir. We'll start in 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
So we will start the session, sir. Mari, sir. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah. Once again, I welcome you all back to the session 2, which is the continuation of session 1 of day 4. Our speaker is Dr. Mari sir, and we are happy to have him. So let us have hands-on experience on N-Logic software. Sir, session is over to you. You can proceed with this. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, very good evening to everyone. Am I audible?
Sir, clear, sir.
Okay, so my screen is visible to everyone. Yeah, I'm welcoming everyone for the afternoon session. Today morning we have discussed about the transportations engineering. Particularly we have discussed about the various software. And the today afternoon session, that means the today evening sessions, we are going to focus about one particular software which is called as NLogic. Morning, I described that it is in a planning software, but it involved in the statistical package manner, which means that we are trying to solve some of the problems which is related to the transportation planning by developing some of the equations or some of the relationship using the various data. So to collect the data, we have to involve various data collections process. For better understandings, I have circulated the link, okay, which can be related to the electrical bike. And the objective of that particular questionnaire survey is we try to capture the willingness of the people who is ready to shift from the motorized vehicle to the electrical vehicle. So that is the motivations and the objective of that questionnaire form. And you all have filled that sheet, and I shared with Dr. Girish. He might be sharing with everyone that Excel sheet. We are going to work with that particular Excel sheet. uh, I request Dr. Girish kindly share this particular Excel sheet with all the participants. Once everybody
Yes,
received
sir.
that Excel sheet, then I will give the quick details about that particular Excel sheet. Then we can go for that model and other process. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm about to share that. Just give me one
Sure,
minute.
sure. Meanwhile, we will get the introductions about the enlarged software and what are the options are there that we can explore on it. I assume that the coordinator shared that enlarged folder with everyone. Once you click that enlarged folder, you can able to see various options inside that folder. Morning earlier, I told that there is no need of installing this particular software. It is a kind of the app which is running in your laptop. So directly, if you are clicking that particular options or the applications, which will leads to the inside of enlarged software. And this is an older version which was introduced in January 1, 2007. After that, so many modifications have happened. Linked up, it came till 11th editions. For Enlogit, it came as a 6th edition. So this is an older version which we are going to explore in the today hand-on session. I request all the participants to open that Enlogit folder. In that Enlogit folder, you just double click this particular option. Enlogit be there, and it mentioned that applications memory is 4097 KB. If you double click, it will lead to this kind of dialog box.
Sir, I have shared the Excel in the chat box, sir.
Okay,
The
okay, yes.
participants can see.
Yes, participant, kindly download that Excel sheet which is shared in your group chat. So participant, double click that Enlogit applications. So 4097 KB, the memory. Once you double click that particular icon, it leads to the Enlogit 4.0 welcome and registrations. Here you just enter your name and your organizations, and no need of entering the serial number. So once you enter your name and the institutions, click OK, which will leads to the software. So it will show the ticks. If you want, you just enable or you can disable. So participant open Enlogit folder. In that inside the Enlogit folder, Enlogit icon will be there, which named as the applications with a memory of 4097. If you double click it, it will leads to that introductions icon where you have to enter your name and your organizations.
Hello?
So there is no need of giving the serial number. If
Hello?
you're doing okay, it will lead to
Tamil
inside your
Chapama.
here we can able to
Hello?
see so many options. There is a two window
Shiva, ఎవరు మాట్లాడేది?
as of now
Sai.
it is show.
Sai చెప్పు. ఎవరి నెంబర్ ఇది? ఓకే, ఓకే. చెప్తాను.
As of now it is showing you two windows. Okay. So basically here you have the various options of using that software, and here it is in a data output and the other details are there about your what we are doing. So those kind of the dialog box you can able to see. This is a two process initial stage you can able to see. Other than that, two more windows is there. One is with respect to the data entry viewer, and the second will be the output window. So totally four windows are there when we are talking about that Enlogit software. So let me explain. So once you open this window, here various options are there. File. If you want to start a new project, you can click as a new project. It will lead to the new things. Second will be the open. Some project already saved. If you want to open that particular, it is a direct, it is a kind of Excel and Word only. And open project, save project, close project, also it is there. Under the edit, we are not going to use much about the edit options. It is also simple like a cut, copy, paste, and the finding, replacing. It's little similar to the SPSS software. And the insert is there. So here also it is with respect to actually Enlogit software. There's two ways we can solve your problem. One is existing modeling approach will be there. So theoretical approach will be there. Example, binary logic model, if you want to develop, it has an existing binary logic model theoretical approach behind that software. It will run with respect to that theoretical and the mathematical approach. In case if you want to go for the modified binary logic or the different kind of the model, if you want to adopt, you just write in your code. There is an option is there. You can write in your own research problem or whatever the things you want. You just comment on it. If you're running, you can able to extract that output. So that is also feasible in Anlogic software. Example, in case nested logic model with respect to the complicated relationship, that time also it is feasible to enter your comment and you can run that particular program. So here the project. So here, if you want to open the new variables, you can click on it, import from the Excel sheet. If you want to import your data, that option's also there. Then the model. So model, we have the different kind of the models. First, data descriptions. As I told that before developing the model, initially you have to understand what is that particular data, what kind of the format and distributions are there in the existing data. So complete statistic analysis we can perform by using the data descriptive options, where we are going to identify the percentage distributions, the relationship with respect to the cross tab, and with respect to the various diagram representations, how we can study the relationship. Those kind of the analysis we can perform and using this data descriptions options. Then the modeling techniques. When we are talking about the Enlogit software, it can be able to perform the time series analysis, linear model, non-linear model, logic choice, censoring and truncations, counting data, Poissons and the negative binomial, duration model, frontiers, discrete analysis, and the numerical analysis. So all these options are available. Now we are not imported any data. That is the reasons it is not showing here. So once we import our data, we can able to see what are the model we can able to develop using this Enlogit software. So run is nothing but, as I told, that if you're creating and developing your own code and if you're trying to run that command, so directly you can use this run options. So that is the tools are available here. And the icon is same only. So this is starting to the new one, open, and the save, print, cut, copy, paste, and running. If you want to run your program, go option is there. If you want to stop or the pause your program, so run, stop, pause. These three options also available when we are trying to develop in your own code and try to running. So these are the things. And as I told, the different kind of the windows are there. Output window, project window, and this is a data editor window. Okay, so when we're talking about the Enlogit, different kind of the windows are there. Once you open, it leads to this particular window where you will get all the options, available options in Enlogit software. Second will be the project window. Third will be, sorry, second will be the data. Okay, so this is a data entry. When you are clicking this point, it will leads to the data editor. And when you are clicking last one, it leads to the your output window. So this is the four windows you can able to see by looking wise, but option wise, it is considering as a only three options. One is the project window, where you will get all the options as well as to click that output and the input data and run. So these two windows including together, it is considered as a activate project window options. Second, the data editor window where we are going to enter all your data. So this is in a data editor or the data window. Third will be the output window. Okay. Now I'm closing the windows. I will explain with one example. In case if you don't have any data in the Excel sheet, in a short data sets, you might be having only 10 number of the sample or the 20 number of the sample with respect to the 2 to 3 variables. In that particular time, you are not saving any Excel shops data. Directly you want to enter and you want to perform your analysis and you can do the get the output. This is the one way you can perform the data entry. Second will be the importing the data. So how we are importing the Excel sheet and we are doing the analysis. So let me explain first thing. So here there is an easy way. Variable is there. If you are clicking the variable, right clicking, there is an options new variable. By clicking the new variable, you can add whatever data you want to add on your data sheet. Or else you go to project. In the project new, in the new variable option is there. If you are clicking that variable, it will lead to the data entry column. So whatever things you want to explain there, you can explain on it. So participant, first, once you open the Enlogic software, there is a two way of entering your data. If you have that Excel data, directly you can import the data that we can see in the second part. First part, if you don't have the data, very limited data, which is written as the numbers in your notebook, if you want to enter the data, so directly you can create the variables and you can enter whatever the number you want to enter in that particular data editor view. There are two options of entering your data. First, the left data will be the variable option is there. If you are doing the right click, new variable is there. If you are clicking new variables, here it will go to this column. So new variables. Name, you have to give us a name. I will give data 1. Data 1 as a first data variable. Participant, go to the data. Variable option is there. If you're doing the right click, new variable option is there. If you're clicking the new variables, and for your data one is, if it is a simply number, you just put the data one and click OK. In case your data has some other relationship, default relationship, log, ln, or sine, or so whatever the options are there to convert your data. In that case, if you want to convert and express your data, you can use this particular options. But I'm not going to cover in much detail about the expressions of data entering process. You just explore the various options which is already existingly available in that particular section. Using that, you try to enter. So here what I'm going to consider, data one is just a numerical. So click OK. So we have assigned the data. Here the variable option, the plus is there. So click that plus, you can able to see data one. So for entering new data, go to the variable, right click, new variable. You can enter, now I'm entering data 2 and I'm clicking OK. So now to data scale. So here you can able to see the data name, but the data editor is window is not there. There is a two way. One is here, the data is there. If you're clicking this button, it directly leads to the data editor view. So go to this grid kind of icon, activate data editor. If you click that activate data editor, your data editor windows will get open. So once two datas are entered, click data editor, it will show. Or else if you're double clicking this data one, your window will get open. Now you can enter the whatever data you want to enter. So basically, when you are trying to enter the data, the settings is default, it will take 222 data only. So this is a default settings already set in that particular software. Your data should be less than 222. This is a one settings. In case your data is more than that particular number, it might be 300 or 500. In that particular point, what we have to do? So before the data entry, the project option is there. So go to the project option, click settings. In setting default, it is given as a 222. There you can change as a 500. Then you can click OK. So now it is changing as a 500 observation. So now we can able to see 500 observations. But the whatever the data we have entered, it lost because we were changed. So before data entry process, you have to define what is the number of rows. Even if you want to define with respect to that column also, it is possible that what is the number of column you want to define on it. Once you define it, then you try to start the data entry process. Okay. For that particular options, you go to the project, click the project, settings, click settings. Here option is there, dimension, number of rows, 500 or 1000. So with respect to the row, the column is adjusted. If you are entering the 1000 rows, the columns only 200. If it is 5000, the column is only 40. So it is changing according to that. Randomly I'm giving 1000 and click OK. See, in the data editor window, top you can able to see 1000 rows. So 1000 observations you can able to enter. In the totally you can enter 200 variables. The column is nothing but 200. So like x1, x2, x3, x3, 4, x4, like x200 you can enter. And the 1000 is the row wise. X1 is 2000 data point. X2 has 1000 data points, like that. Now you just to open new variable x1. I can define as a x1. New variable x2. See, now the data are entered. 1000 data you can enter. Okay, I guess everybody is clear about the data entry process in Untitled software. By using the variables options, before entering the data, you have to do the settings. If you're not doing the settings, your data restricted till 222 data. That means 222 data points only for x1 or x2, whatever it is. So before moving to that importing the data and the analysis part, I will show what are the options are there. already we have discussed about the data descriptions, why we are doing before modeling, and using the descriptive statistic analysis we can perform it. Here descriptive statistic options are there, crosstab option is there, histograms is there, plotting variables with respect to the individual scatter plots, and other options also there, which I am not going to focus on today presentation. So these four option is more than sufficient to understand that existing data, how it is replicating with respect to your independent variable. The time series model, it has a spectral modeling as well as Armax. Linear, when it is coming to the linear regressions with respect to the different SLS. Not only the linear, you can able to develop the non-linear model also. So based on data, what distributions it's following, according to that, you can develop your mathematical equations. Then the binary logic, as I told, that binary logic is not only with respect to the 0 or 1, it is a binary data, but it might be having the ordered data, ranked data, or without order, the numbered data also it will be there. Like that cases, we can use the probit model, how it is deviated. So with respect to the your independent variable, you can choose which model you want to choose under the choice decisions making. So this is a censoring and truncations model. Under that, we have the variations options. N top it is there, B top it is there, truncations, and the topic, simple topic also there. Then the count data, when we are talking about the count data, example, if the accidents are happened, what is the number of accidents? It is a count, it is a frequency. So when you want to develop the your model, your independent variables, your dependent variables, the frequency or the counting data, you just adopt and develop this model. And in logic, two options are there. One is the Poisson model and the negative binomial model. Then the durations model. So three classifications is there with respect to the parametric, non-parametric, as well as the semi-parametric. A hybrid model also it is there. So here we can develop the surveil or the risky. Okay, those kind of the points. If you want to predict it, we can apply this particular model. Then the frontiers, so I'm not explored much about this option. Then the discrete choice model. Into the discrete choice model, multinomial logic is there, ordered logic is there, generalized maximum entropy maximizations method is there. When we are talking about the fright studies and all, or when it is coming to the planning and demand and all, demand modeling and all, you can use entropy maximizations methods. Then the ordered data is there. Nested logic. Morning I told that if you want to make a journey, you might be having the two options, private and the public. Under the public, it might be buses or the train. So nested, okay, stages, two stages of choices are there. So develop the two choices of level, how the distributions are happen, probability distributions that can be estimated using this particular options, the nested logic models. And the numerical analysis, the functions which you want to define at it, you define the functions. According to that defined functions, you will get an output. Example, if you working on the maximizations problem or the minimizations problem, so you define your relationship, and with respect to the relationship, you import your independent variable. According to that, you try to get what is the dependent variable. So these are the model which we can able to work on this particular enlarged software. So in the today session, very quickly, I will cover the data descriptions, how we can perform the analysis, one simple binary logic model, and same data, how the linear regressions we can perform it. These three analysis we can discuss in the today's session. Now I delete this two data. If you want to delete, delete option is there. Okay, so this is an option. So you can open the new. If you want to start a new project, you can start new project. That is in one way. The second one is if you want to define your code and if you want to do and all. So this is the commander window. So in the commander window, you just type whatever the coding or whatever analysis you want to do, so that you can perform it. So once you run your program, so you will get it output here. Just to simply given the skip. Okay, so command skip and go to the go. This is a run options. If you're running, so it will leads to your output windows. So here I'm not going to cover anything the manually how we are trying to develop and run the model. So with respect to the existing data, how we can develop the model by using the default options in that particular software that we can cover in the today classes.
Do we have any syntax to that, sir? No, no. Just simply we can
No,
write whatever we wanted to do.
no,
Coding, that code.
default syntax is not there. So based on the options, you just to write in your own code. Or else that limited website, if you are going, you can able to see the default syntax for the limited options, not for that. Since we are working in the complicated research problems, it is a highly difficult to get the default syntax. Maybe some loops and all you have to create in your own.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So now I guess everybody received that particular Excel sheet. So we are going to work with this data sheet. This data sheet is nothing but the questionnaire. You might be seen that questionnaire. There we have collected the different kind of the data, like socioeconomic characteristics we have collected, then the travel information, knowledge about the electrical vehicle and the motorized two-wheeler. So why you are choosing that motorized two-wheeler, kind of different kind of options, sir, we have circulated in that particular questionnaire form. Now you can able to see that Excel sheet. If you're opening, first one is interested to shift. It is in a binary data. So our objective is that the people, that means the two-wheeler rider, are willing to shift towards the electrical bike, or yes or no. So this is the questions we were asking, and 0 is indicating that they are not willing to shift, and 1 is indicating that they are willing to shift. So this is the way we have categorized the data, and we coded our data with respect to our analysis. So example, state we have after this Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra and all. So all this data are coded over here. 1 means Tamil Nadu, 2 means Andhra, 3 means Karnataka. So like that we have coded. Then it is coming to the gender. Example, gender if you are considering, 0 means female, 1 means male. So like that, the data coding has been done based on that collected data. And the first cell is nothing but what we can say, label of a data. So first one is the interested to shift, second will be the state, gender, age. So like that, before importing your data into any software, not only any logic, any software, you should understand what is the format will be adopted in that particular software. According to that format, whether your data is ready for analysis or not, that you have to check on it. So this is the things you have to do. Basically, Nlogic software, it can be import the data in CSV format or XLS format. So the data which we circulated, it is an XLS format. Directly, you can save that particular data. What we are going to do in the sense, this first column is nothing but your Y. So Y is nothing but your dependent variable. Remaining all other parameters are considering as a independent variable, which means Xi. Okay. With respect to your Y, what are the variables are giving the influencing to change that Y value as a 1, that we are going to predict it. It is simple explanation is that Y will be there. What are the dependent independent variables are giving the significant relationship with that Y value. Using that Y value, how we are going to develop that predictions model that we are going to perform in that Enlogit software. Example, so many variables are there. Okay, when we are trying to develop the model, this is a Y, and your model is getting the significant result with respect to age, working day and distance. Example, x1, x2 and x3. So y is equal to think I will show in the writer. So basically what we are doing in the sense, we are trying to develop a model Y. Okay. And the different kind of X1, X2, X3 are there. X1, X2, and X3. So this is the factors only getting significant. Maybe X4, X5 till 20 it will be there, but all the factors are not getting the significant. Only these threes are getting significant. And what is that value that you have to show? Example, we have to identify what will be the coefficients. Beta 0 is the constant, and here beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. So this is three coefficients we have to estimate for developing this particular equation. So this y is nothing but your dependent variable. Here the dependent variable is people are changing to the electrical vehicle or not, 0 to 1. It is in a binary data. So that is the reasons we are going to develop the binary logic model. So also for simplifications, I will show how to develop the linear regressions equation. So here the data is not linear, but in the software, I will show how to develop the linear equations. So before developing linear equations, your dependent variable should follow the normal distributions with respect to that various assumptions. Then only we can able to adopt that linear regressions techniques. For understanding purpose, I'm using the same data and I'm trying to develop this binary logic as well as the linear regressions model. I'm just showing that working flow, how can we perform in that logic software. So this is one way we are doing, and various factors are there. You might be mostly familiar with the R squared value. Okay, then the success predictions value. So this both value can be considered for to check the model accuracy, as well as we can see the T statistic value, P value, and F value. All these three values also considered to check the accuracy level of the developed model. So I assume that the participants are very well and fundamental about the mathematical model development and various statistical performance evaluations techniques. So I'm directly moving to that, how we are developing and how we are modifying the equations with this fundamental assumptions. So which means that I assume that participants they have a good knowledge if I'm telling what is mean by R squared, what is mean by T value, what is mean by P value and the F values and that. And you might be getting the clear knowledge on success predictions table also. So with this basic assumptions, we will move to that software. So here new, I'm starting a new project. So participant, start a new project. To start a new project, go to this first icon, new options are there, or else go to the file. There also new option is there. If you're clicking new, there is a text or command document is there, project document is there. So here we are going to import our data. Click OK, and you leads to this particular window. Once it's over, first you give the settings. Settings is playing the major role. So this is an output window. So go to the project settings. You just to define what is the number. Anyway, we have nearly 100 plus data only. So 200 is more than sufficient, but still I'm assuming the 500 data points. So participant, start a new project, click this new. There you go to the project. So then the second icon, it will pop up. There you just click the project and click OK. Then you can able to see this window, project window. Before importing the data, go to the project settings will be there. In default, 222 rows are assumed as the default value. In case your data has a 500 or 2000 or the 10,000, you just define the dimensions in the rows. Rows option is there. In the rows, you just change what will be the number of data points in your project. Then click OK. So everybody able to see the Excel sheet? Participants are typing is showing an error.
They are unable to open in the 2007 format like that. They are telling, sir.
Okay. So Girish, for you, it is opening or no?
Yes, sir. I am able to open that. I'm able to see it.
Okay. So since I have saved as a 2007 format only, so they can able to open it. So once you settings done, go to the import option. Their variable is there. You click variables where you have saved that particular Excel sheet. That folder you can go. So I have saved as a STTP3. In case if it is in the downloads, you just click it here. There downloads, or if you're saving in the Dropbox or the desktop option is there, you just click that one. It will directly, it will go to there. So participant, now we are planning to import our data. Go to the project import option, their variables, click variables. You find where you have saved the distributed Excel sheet. Click that Excel sheet and open. So now the data import is done. How I'm telling in the sense, so here the data, you can able to see variables. Before that variables is, there's a no option for variables, but here you can able to see plus, which means that you try to expand that variables and inside you have all your data. So the data import is done. To view your data, there's two options. If you're double clicking this variable name, you can able to see the data editor window, or else here that option is there, activate data editor. If you're clicking that, you can able to see all your data. If you want to maximize only this particular window, you can able to do. So your first row supposed to be label of your data. So that automatically it takes label. So whatever you have given the first row, that can be considered as a label for your data. Okay, so it is very simple. Once you open your Enlogit software, here a new option is there. If you are clicking the new, it will pop up for the two options, text, comment, or the project. Click the project and click OK. Once the project window is open or the started, you go to the project and you have to set what will be your number of rows. Default, it will be there 222, and whatever your requirement, according to that, you can change it. So in our analysis, we assumed as a 500. See, you can able to see 500 rows here. Once we done the settings, okay, so note it down before start your importing or the data entry process, you kindly do the settings. Once without doing the settings, if you enter the data again, if you want to do that, that existing project will get closed or it will delete whatever you have already entered the data. So to avoid those kind of the complexity, before start your project, you do this is the default settings of your data. Once the setting is over, go to the import options. There variable is there. If you are clicking the variables, it will lead to this dialog box where you can able to see about the Excel sheet. So click and open, then it will show. Initially this window won't be there. Once you import uh, your Excel sheet, you can able to see this kind of the window only. Data editor window won't be visible, but you can able to see the variables near the expand symbol. Plus option is there, but before importing the data, this plus symbol won't be there. So now once import is done, the expand you can give, you can able to see all the data, all the variables name. Okay, once the variables names are visible, you go to the data viewer. Data editor viewer is there, so click, you can able to see your data view. Anyone facing issues for importing the data? It is very simple. Before importing the data, you just make it your data in the perfect in the data sheet with respect to the requirement. As I told that it is supposed to be in the CSV format or XLS format. Once you saved your data and the coding, everything it will be done. And the first row, you just give us a label for the variables, independent or the dependent variables. Once all the data entry and the labeling, everything is done, then it is ready for importing data. Then you just launch your enlarged software and you import the data whatever you require. So once the import is over, now we can move for that basic analysis. So the descriptive statistic analysis, we can perform it. Here, I'm not going to cover much about the technical content or the mathematical aspects. I will show what are the options are there. Using that options, how we can interpret the result and what are the conclusions we can make it, that we can try to understand and study using that descriptive statistic analysis. Okay, so once the data entry is over, go to the first step, descriptive statistic analysis process. So here we are going to analyze and perform various analysis for that variable. So under the data descriptions, first descriptive statistics. Interest one variable, or at a time you can select multi variables also for the analysis, but I will go with one by one. So interest, and here option is there. Basically what are the output you require: display covariance matrix, correlation matrix, sample, okay, contains plot normal, display skewness, display faster autocorrelations, box plot, whisker plots. So box plot basically going to use for identifying the outlier samples, but remaining other correlations, other plot and all, we need one more data. So according to that only we can able to perform on it. So for this, you just to see how it is there with respect to the interest. Maybe you just assume gender, how it is there. You can see. First, we will do the simple analysis. Single variable. You can choose a interest. Interest is nothing but your first whether they are willing to shift or not. It is in a simple binary data. So that is the reasons we are getting the string is not a happen. We will go with another independent dependent variable, maybe gender, age. So this is the basics. We are not choosing any particular options. Okay, without options, what are the descriptive analysis we can able to receive in the sense mean, standard deviations, what is the minimum value, maximum value, cases in the sense what is the total number of the data we have entered and what is the total number of the missing. So this is in a default value, descriptive values which you will get from your analysis, descriptive statistical analysis. So whatever the data you want to analyze, okay. And this is in your output window. Directly it will leads to your output once you perform your analysis. So once your data import is over, go to the data descriptions. In the data description, descriptive statistics analysis option is there. So you choose whatever the data you want to analyze, maybe the interest, gender, age and all. And if you want to perform the covariation matrix, correlations matrix between the dependent and the independent variables, that is also possible here. Box plot, also it is feasible to plot here. So whatever the options or the requirement is required from your side, that you can enable over here. So this is in a box plot to find that outlier samples. So three variables I have incorporated, gender, age, and the interest. But we can't perform the analysis like this because the ranges is differ for the each variable. So gender is only 0 and 1. When it is coming to the age, it is a 0, 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, and 3. There is a note zeros and all. So the ranges are varying. So in a combined manner, if you're performing the analysis, it is the difficult to capture those things. So in that case, what we have to do in this is basically you just perform all your analysis with in a single variables. If you want to perform graphical representations kind of the analysis, or else if you need only simply abbreviations, all abbreviations is required, then you just perform together. So now you get all the data for the three variables, whatever you consider. Okay, for the interest, gender, and the age, mean. What is the mean value? What is the standard deviations? The minimum is 0, maximum is 1. For age, minimum is 1, maximum is 3. Totally 130 data are entered for the dependent variable. According to that, all the 130 cells are filled or not, that is it is showing. In case some cases are missing, here you can able to see numbers 5 or 1 or 2. Somewhere the data entry error has been happened. So the data is missing. In that case, you just to go and find option is there in that particular cell. You try to find where the cell is missing with respect to the data. Then you just try to enter manually where the cells are missing in the data. So this is an options how to find the cases and how to understand the missing data, or how to find that missing data. Once you find, and manually you can enter that particular values. And this is the percentile. So percentile 10th, 20, 25th, 30, 40, actually till 90th percentile it is there. So with respect to your requirement, in case if you want to identify the percentile. So example, when we are talking about the transportation engineering, the speed is playing the major role. Everybody knows about the speed. Okay, design speed is there, maximum speed is there, allowable speed is there. All the speeds are defined with respect to the percentile value. So you might be studied 15th percentile, 50th percentile, 50, then 85th percentile, then 98th percentile. So you need the percentile data to identify the various speed, like a design speed, maximum allowable speed, okay, then yeah, average or the mean speed. So the whatever the things are required. So in that case, if you're defining what is the percentile value, if you want to identify, according to that you can estimate those kind of the analysis also you can get it from this particular value. So participant, once the data import is over, go to the model, data descriptions, descriptive statistics. Their variable option is there. If you want to study and analyze single variable, whatever the variable you want to study, you can choose and you click this one, it will go automatically. Or else if you're doing the double click, automatically it will shift from the left to right. So you can use your arrow left to right, or if you're double clicking on the variable name, automatically it will shift from one side to the another side. So this is a way we can define the variables. The performance will be conducted with respect to the single variable as well as the multi variables also. And it has the different options like a covariance matrix, correlations matrix, box plot, as well as you can check the skewness when it is falling under the normal distributions and all. And you can able to see the value, okay, percentile value also you can define over here. Once you define everything, so it will leads to your output window. So this is an output window. So there the status, if you're saying the status, your results will be there. Also traces options are there. What are the performance previously you have done? So all the traces are you can able to see here. Okay, so now I'm moving to the second part analysis under the descriptive data descriptive analysis cross tab. So go to the cross tab option. Basically why we are using the cross tab, in the sense cross classifications are how it happened that we can able to study here. Before performing your data cross tab analysis, your data supposed to be in the discrete, okay, discrete data. It's supposed to be discrete, not a continuous variable. When you are performing the data analysis between the two variable, that means y and x1, the cross tab if you want to perform, y is nothing but going interest shifting or not, x1 is nothing but male or female, how the cross classifications happen. That kind of the analysis we can perform using this cross tab option. So click the cross tab option. So here you can able to see row and column. So your row is nothing but whether people are willing to shift or not. Click interest. Column variable is, we will go with gender, how their preference are there, that you can go on. Here some of the options are there which is not needed right now. So only you just to define what is your row, what is column, and run. So here you got your cross classifications. So 0, 1, 0, 1. Row values are indicating the interest, and the column values, this is the column value, it is indicating the gender. So 28 females are not interested to shift to the electrical vehicle. 72 people are interested under the 0th category, which is cross classified. Like that, one is 9 and the willingness is showing the 21. So participant, the next analysis is the cross tab. The cross tabs is which is analyzing between the two variables. So how the cross classifications happen. There is a two kind of the output we can get it from the cross classifications. One is the frequency, how it is distributed, and how significantly distributed or cross classified each other by using the chi-square value. So here you can able to see the chi-square value is there 0.04534. So with respect to the chi-square value, how we are going to define how the significantly classifications crossly happen between this dependent and the independent variable. To study this kind of the behavior, we have an options of cross tab. Go to the model. In the model, data descriptions. In data descriptions, cross tab option is there. Click cross tab. Row, what you want to define. Basically row, we are defining interest. The same you can able to see row variable is interest. Column, gender. Or if you want to give us age, you can give age also. So again, I'm putting the gender and I'm running. From the cross tab, you will get this kind of the output. Significantly, if you want to study the data, so you have the chi-square value and the distributions are happen like this. 0. 0 means they are not willing to shift. 1 means they are willing to shift towards the electrical bike. Here 0 is female, 1 is male. So 28 females are not interested to shift towards the electrical bike. Same, 72 male are not interested to shift towards the electrical bike. So this is an interpretations we can get it. The same time, 9 females are indicated that they are willing to shift towards the electrical bike, and 21 males are indicated that they are interested to shift that electrical bike. So this is the kind of the cross classifications, frequency interpretations we can get it, as well as how significantly influencing whether the interest is really related to the gender. So those kind of the understanding we can get it from the chi-square value. So here the significant value is not indicating the significant effect, which means that the gender is not correlated with your interest, whether they are shifting to the electric bike or not. It is not depending upon the male or female. So those kind of the statistical inferences also you can get it from your cross tabulations inferences. So here in the SPSS, the cross tab, we can able to perform with respect to the multivariable in a single time. You can able to perform with a multivariable. But here it is not like that. So if you have the 20 variables of the independent variable, 20 times you have to repeat your cross tab analysis. But SPSS, once you define the independent variable and you can able to perform with respect to the multiple independent x1, x2, x3 in a single analysis, you can perform. That is one advantage with respect to the SPSS software. But here it is, everything is an individual interest. Then we can go for the age. Then you can run. So here we are getting the same kind of the insignificant relationship, as well as we have the three classification. Okay, less than 18 years, then the adult, then older. How this three type of the age are classified and shown the interest with respect to that willingness. 6, 80, 14, they were not interested. Only 3, 31 and the 6 people were interested to shifting towards your electrical vehicle bike shifting or the usage. So I assume everybody is getting an idea how to perform the crosstab analysis and what are the output we will get it from the analysis to interpret your results between the dependent and independent variable. Now we will go to the next analysis. Next two is very simple. We are trying to plot the graph according to the graph, how we can interpret the result. So histogram option is there. So histogram, you just perform which one you want to choose, interest, and here what are the things, histogram type, automatic, fixed number of binds. So different option is there, but we will go with an automatic. So this is a way we can get your histogram of your particular variable. So mostly the Enlogit software is suited for the discrete choice analysis. Discrete data is needed, and whatever the maximum analysis we are doing, all the data are falling under the discrete categories. Since it is an older editions, we have only histogram options, as well as we have the scatter plot in case if you want to define with respect to your dependent and the independent variables. So participant, in case if you want to plot the histogram for your dependent or the independent variable, and Logit itself, you have an options to plot your histogram. And here the limitation is you can able to plot one by one about your variable. In a single time, it is not possible to run and plot the graph for the all the variables. That limitations is there in the older versions. For performing and plotting the histogram, you just go to the data model, data descriptions, histogram option is there. Click the histogram options. There the variable option is there. Using the drop down function, you can choose whatever the data you want to define. Now I'm choosing age and run the program, and you will get your histogram. So here the plot is happen with respect to that number of frequency. So the Y column is number of frequency. It is not an cumulative distributions or the distributions. Okay, that means 100%. So it is not defined with respect to the percentage. It is defined with respect to the frequency or the numbers what it is observed. So under the one, age one is nothing but your child less than 18. So this is a number which has been observed. Then the second will be the adult. So nearly 108 or something observed under the adult, then the older. So this is the things we are getting. So when it is coming to the histogram, it is plotted with respect to frequency options. Hope everybody is getting how to plot that histogram. So now I'm moving to the next option. Plot variables. So other options are additional options only. So once if you want to developing and studying about the model or the planning point of view, initial stage I told that the descriptive statisticals is mandatory options. How the distributions are happen your data, and what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, what is the standard deviations, what is the mean value. So this kind of the basic analysis is required for understanding about your data. Then the cross tab is one of the main applications. You might be having that independent dependent variable as a discrete choice, 1 2 or 1 2 3 4 5. With respect to the dependent variable, how the classifications are happen, or how the uh, distributions happen of the independent variable, that distributions we can able to study and understand from the cross tab. So here we are getting the cross tab values are in the frequency manner. Once you save your data in the Excel sheet format, there you just convert to the percentage, and you can interpret it your result in the percentage, or else you just write your journal with respect to the frequency itself. So this is the basic analysis, is the more than sufficient before performing the modeling aspect. As well as if you want to represent your data in the graphical manner, Enlogit has very limited representations of the graphical manner. One is the histogram and another one is other plot between the dependent and the independent variables. Then the scatter plots also available. So the histogram we have seen. Second, we can see how the plotting the variables between the two variables are happen. So what is your x variables? You can define any two variables if you want to plot between the two variables. That is also possible over here. Example, x is your interest and y is your gender. How it happened, that we can analyze it. And other options also there. Whether you want to connect data points with lines, yes, display linear regression lines, display grid and background, or the x-axis, y-axis, the limitations, everything we can able to define. It's like a Excel sheet option only. Then run. So this is the value plot has been given. It is the both data are a binary data. So that is the reasons we are getting this kind of the plot 0 and 1. Here also 0 1, so that means not interested, interested, male and female. How it is plotted, since we have plotted between the two binary data, so that is the reasons the plot is like this. So like that, the whatever analysis you want to perform between the two variables, you can plot on it. So the plot variables will be there. So participant, once the histogram is over, since your data has different kind of the formulations, and if you want to represent it with respect to the pictorial manner, how the data are variant, so in that cases you just to go to the plot variables. Okay, go to the model, same data descriptions, plot variable options, click the plot variables. There you can able to define what is your x-axis, what is your y-axis. So click the x-axis. Under that x-axis, what you want to define, that you can define it. So here I'm defining interest as a x variable. Next, age will be your y variable. So you can double click age, automatically it will move to the left to right, or else you click age, arrow mark will be the click, it will move to in your right corner. So run. So this is the way it is distributed. So here copy, So you can copy and you can paste to your Word document or your Excel also. Even save as options also there to save your graph or the plot. Then the last graphical representation says a multiple scatter plot options is there. Also plot matrix option also is there. So I'm not going to cover much here. But so here, so the data is not falling under the particular criteria because it is in a continuous variable. Excuse. So other than that, you have the scatter plot, matrix plot, and the kernel density. So which is not scope in our research area. So in case if you want to perform in that particular analysis, or if you have that particular kind of the data, then only you can able to analyze this. So we don't have the data to perform those kind of the analysis because I'm not defined that vectors value for performing the analysis. So save options. So initially if you are saving, then it is fine, or else here is there, you can save option is there, you just save, or else once you've done all the analysis while you are closing your window, so you will get in a pop-up of saving your results as well as your input data. So any doubt from the participants so far what we have covered? So I'm just summarizing what we have done. So initially very simple steps we have started, how to enter the data under the variables. Before entering the data, I informed that we have to set what is the number of rows or the columns with respect to your data. Once the settings is done under the project settings option is there, then you just go to the new and you can new variables will be there. You define x1, x2, x3 individually we can define and you enter your data. So this is the things we have covered in the first part. Second, data import. Okay, you might be saved huge number of the data which we can't enter. So in that particular cases, you just import your Excel sheet. Okay, that can be directly, it will come to this kind of session. Once we import, the data editor options is there. If you're clicking, you will get what is your data. Enter the data. Once the data import is completed, we have to do two kind of the analysis. Before model development, we should understand what is the actual picture or the actual representations of the data. For that purpose, the model, under the model, data descriptions option is there. In that data descriptions, we just perform the descriptive statistic analysis, cross-tab analysis we can perform. Cross-tab itself, I told the two kind of the classification is there. Statistically significant also we can check on it, as well as how the frequencies are distributed. So these two things are more than sufficient to understand our data. Then the different kind of the plots are there, histogram, or if you want to plot between the dependent and the independent variable, that time plot variable options are there. Other than that, if you define your data as a vector or the matrix, with respect to that, you just perform the other kind of the analysis. So this is the four main things which is useful for transportations planning kind of the analysis when you're trying to write your journal paper. So once the data collections you have discussed, the data entry is discussed, Then the data details. In the data details column should be explained, or the section should be explained by using all these four options, whatever the output you are getting. Once this things is done, then we can go for the modeling aspect. Okay, so we will study how the linear regressions as well as the binary logic model will be developed by using nLogit software. So any doubt with respect to the basics? In case sometimes what happened, actually you might be observed, I'm in the command window, I used to put the skip. Okay, skip options I used to put, which is nothing but sometimes some error is there, or it might be inbuilt error sometimes used to happen in the nLogit software. That time, to skip that particular steps or to particular error, if you're providing the skip, the command skip if you're providing, so directly it will jump from that error and you will get an output. So that is the reasons I used to give the skip options before starting my analysis in the nLogit software. So you can also try to follow the same, which will avoid the most of the errors. And you might be having the output window in case some errors are happened. So you can able to see some red color notifications. You can able to see, say, so here error is there, error 565. If reject cannot ID string sample, so that the sample is not able to perform this kind of the analysis. That is the indications it has given. So like that, some analysis, if you're not able to perform, some errors are happened. So you can able to see what is that error in that output window. So this is an output window. So the error will be in that red color indications, and it is explained what is that error. Maybe the data is missing, or the data what you consider that is not able to perform that binary logic model, you have to change the data. So those kind of that comments as well as the explanation is given in that output window. Still, if you're not able to identify, you can just copy paste and Google it, you will get it what is that actual error and how to rectify that particular error, that you can get it. So yeah, as I told that if I'm giving the hands-on practice, it seems simple, but when it is coming to the hands-on practice, it is difficult to cover. Dr. Girish, today I plan to cover the basics as well as the modeling, but since it is a hands-on, I have to move slowly only.
But okay, sir, it's not a problem because we want to learn cleanly. Because it is better to go like this only. At least
Yes, yes. If I
children of
if I'm
the
moving
technology,
very
at
fast,
least, yeah.
if I'm moving very fast, it is very difficult to the participant to follow also.
This is okay, sir. Even we learn little bit also, it will be more effective. That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So tomorrow maybe during the sessions, so first sessions we try to cover binary logic model and the regressions, linear regressions also, how we can do with this nLogit software. Then only it will be complete pack for that, useful for the participants. Then I will move to the division simulations, how actually it has happened. Maybe we worked already one problem with respect to the congestions and the remedial measures, so that I can show it. Then you will get an idea with respect to the micro simulation software.
Yes, sir. So there are a few questions in the chat box. Are you able to see it, or should I help you?
Chat box. Can you read out? Actually, I'm not following the chat box.
How are you relating binary data with actual data, such as the distance? Is it ideal correlation?
Yes. So when it is coming to the how we have binary data with the actual data. It is not an actual data. It is a continuous data. Okay. So you want to develop the relations between the discrete and continuous variable, but that is the reasons we have the different kind of the correlations matrix. So the correlations matrix, and we have the different kind of the methods, like a Pearson's method is there, Spearman's method is there, Kendall-Dubbo methods are there. So different kind of the classification, the methods are there when it is coming to the correlations, as well as with respect to the distributions also. In that categories, you can choose your data as discrete as well as the continuous, which method you want to adopt it, that you can implement on your analysis part. Since it is on a logit, mostly it is giving the main contributions for the discrete data. So I have not performed between the discrete and the continuous. So still it is not, still it is possible to perform. And my suggestion is that you try to identify the which method. Basically, I used to follow the Pearson's, but still if it is in a non-parametric data, I used to follow the Pearson's correlations. And the most suitable software is this SPSS software for performing the correlations analysis. From that, you try to identify what are the factors that are influencing. But when it is coming to the nlogit software, here what we are doing in the sense, we are not performing the correlations. We are not eliminating the data from the correlation test. We are performing with respect to the trial and error basis. First, we are trying to incorporate the 15 variables. Then we are eliminating one variable. What will be the significance with respect to the 14? So with respect to the trial and error basis, what are the factors are influencing that we are going to incorporate in our model that we can see in the tomorrow lectures. Only if you want to perform correlations, identify the method and perform the analysis by using the SPSS or some other tool like a MATLAB also.
Yes, sir. There is another question. In the given data, I mean, we provided the data file. Now, how to distinguish between dependent and independent variable in the provided file? Sir, actually, we have sent one file
Yes,
now
yes,
that
yes, yes,
the
yes, yes, I
binary, yeah.
understand.
So they were
We
asking how to distinguish.
How to
Distinguish the dependent and independent variable in the provided data.
How to decisions between the dependent and independent variable. No, actually
Yes,
that
yes.
you are defining, that is you are defining the dependent variable, what you are going to predict it. So that is nothing but your dependent variable, right? So in my cases, the first column, what I have shown, that is a dependent variable that I'm going to predict it, whether people are willing to shift or not. So that is, I'm going to predict it, that is considering as a dependent variable, and remaining all are considering as an independent variable. In your case, your research, it might be different. You might be predicting the number of accident. In that cases, number of accidents playing as a dependent variable and the remaining others are playing as an independent variable. Example, the traffic volume, road width, particular city population. So these are coming under the independent variable. So dependent and independent, it is purely depend on what is your research problem, what actually you are going to predict for your research. According to that, you can define. Dr. Girish?
Yeah, that's all, sir. We request any other. Yes, sir. We are requesting any other participants have questions. You can post or you can unmute and talk also.
So, okay. Still, if you don't have any doubt, anyway, tomorrow also we have a session. It is very simple to use that software. So you try to, we circulated the data also. You try to perform this. Hardly it will take 15 minutes to explore this particular software, whatever we have covered in the today class. Still, if you're getting any error or any doubts while you're doing the practice, tomorrow you just let me know. So we will clarify on tomorrow class.
Yeah, right, sir. Right. Sir, what someone is asking how to do skip command.
Yes, skip command I told no. So you have the window for entering your code actually. So when going to the new itself, it has a text or command document is there. You open your document command, there you can give, and here run go option is there. So you can click the go options, it will run. And you can able to see my
Right, sir.
window. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we're able to see your
Under the
window, sir.
comment window, you just enter the whatever comments you want to provide or the syntax with respect to your data. Then the run the program, you will get an output.
What is the use of skip option?
I already explained, but still I'm telling the same actually. So that's what I told, that some error or something which is restricted to perform that analysis. Okay, it is not an actual error. It's a kind of the it is kind of the eliminations kind of the error which are restricting to get that output. That kind of the error simply skip before performing that output. Okay, with respect to the data missing the string, or it is in the different kind of the format of the data. So those kind of the analysis error we can able to see. Other than that, sometimes some windows are in the default mode, it won't perform. So to avoid those kind of the default mistakes, so this skip options will be useful, but it is not mandatory, but uh, just for skipping some annoying error. That's all.
All right, sir. So that's all for today's session, sir. I have questions are over. I think we will stop the discussion. Maybe the participants can post tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can practice. Maybe if they're getting some doubts during the practice, then they can give.
Yes, sir. Okay. We'll meet tomorrow, sir. Once again, I'm thanking you, and we are thanking you for this session. And yes, we will meet again tomorrow in tomorrow's session.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you everyone. Yeah, have a nice evening. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, sir. Thank you. The feedback link will be provided in the tomorrow session because it's a continuation of today's sessions. So I request the participants again. We'll meet tomorrow in the tomorrow's sessions, day 5, session 1 and session 2. Yeah, we'll meet at sharp 10 o'clock. Thank you. Please join us in tomorrow's session. Sharp 10 o'clock. We will continue the session and then we'll meet once again on day 5. Thank you once again for all the participants for your cooperation. Yeah, yes, definitely. I will forward the links to your mails. Yes, definitely do it. I'll do it. Yeah, understood. I'll send that second day link. No worries. Thank you once again to all the participants. We will